President Trump for the time being has dialed back the talk of war. मतलब ये है कि वो कहते हैं 2 हफ्ते के लिए वो अटैक नहीं कर रहे ईरान पे मगर थोड़ा वेट कर रहे हैं. This is significant, especially after meeting with the Pakistani army chief. तो लगता है इसमें कहीं चीन का भी इनपुट है और बाकियों का भी इनपुट है. Presidential press secretary ने भी कहा है that there is a substantial chance of negotiations with Iran, and White House officials are watching European talks with Iran scheduled for Friday. That he would wait for the discussions to unfold. इसमें देखना चाहते हैं आगे क्या हो रहा है. Trump will see what comes out of the European meeting on Friday. Washington Post has reported that Steve Witkoff, President Trump's special envoy to the Middle East, has continued correspondence with Iranian officials in recent days, and she repeatedly stressed Trump's desire for a negotiated solution. But at the briefing for reporters, she also emphasized that Trump has not ruled out U.S. strikes against Iran as the threat remains. The president has made it clear that he wants to pursue diplomacy, but believe me, the president is unafraid to use strength if necessary. If U.S. attack is ordered, it would probably target the Iran main nuclear enrichment facility at Fordo, which is buried deep underneath the mountain. Israel does not have the weapons capable of penetrating the site, but US has bombed that may be able to do so. Levitt, US press secretary for the president, said that Iran would pose an existential threat to the world, Israel, by developing a bomb within weeks of a supreme leader Ali Khamenei ordered a nuclear weapon to be assembled. However, most experts in the field said Iran could assemble enough highly enrichment uranium within a few weeks to turn it into a functional weapon. But turning into a weapon takes months. Anyway, those are assessments, and I think if you are sitting on the other side of the fence, you will take the least crime as the one in question. The next step right now, everybody's watching, is the meeting of the Europeans in Geneva on Friday between the foreign ministers of the United Kingdom, France, Germany, European Union, and the Iranian foreign minister Abbas Araghchi. The meeting is being coordinated with Washington, according to 4 officials familiar with the planning spoke anonymously. Diplomatic channel involved in the negotiations said the country would seek broker a take it or leave it deal with Iran in exchange for regime survival. That is also what the Hamare field marshal had probably gotten out of Trump. Probably this is the requirement also of China. So let's see how this goes forward. Whatever the deal is, there's absolutely no chance of Iran being able to enrich uranium. और वो जो 3.67 enrichment जो मामला था वो खत्म हो गया. And where the thing starts right now, it's only a means of ending the conflict with no enrichment, and the current regime can stay in power. Washington is aware that initiating military conflict with Iran without factoring in the China's potential reaction could trigger broader geopolitical consequences. And the commentators coming out of China, who now basically propel China foreign policy, they have started giving strong warnings to the West on this issue, because China imports a lot of oil and they don't want it getting sacrificed for some other small countries' aims. Current situation, Israel says that it intends to keep up the attacks on Iran until it eliminates Iran's nuclear program. The high price tag is creating pressure to wrap up the conflict quickly. According to one estimate, a war that lasts 1 month will cost Israel $12 billion. If the Iran supreme leader were toppled or killed, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard would most likely step in, put in place a new ruler, potentially resulting in a more hawkish anti-Israeli Iran. Meanwhile, President Xi is in Central Asia, so I don't think he's sitting there and not doing anything. And their vice foreign minister of China held a Bangladesh-Pakistan conference in China in the Yulong province. So China is pretty active geopolitically. Also, China is completing the trials of the new Hangar-class submarines given to Pakistan. So that should give pause to a lot of countries. And we shall watch the situation unfold as it goes. For those viewers who are geographically challenged, kindly look at the map where the US bases are present. US does not have any need of Pakistani bases, but that's the farthest with a very small boundary with Iran. The only interest Pakistan has is terrorism, especially BLA, coming from the Sistan province of Iran. US has a multitude of bases very close to Iran, Tehran, and the vital sites. The common perception that US has to have Pakistan is not true. They have a lot of bases. Please look at the map. They are outlined.
आपको हमारी ये
वीडियो पसंद आए तो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब करें, और अगर बहुत पसंद आए तो शेयर करें। थैंक यू।